miras a otro lado, los fantasmas del pasado no se detendrán hasta verte derrumbado. Peores lo hemos pasado. Andaba a golpes con la tristeza, me aportó riqueza, me otorgó sabiduría, pues se dibujaba en todas mis piezas. Yo con alegría le daba color después. La aguja sigue girando, tiempo parece se burlar de mí. Dijo que sanaría esperando, pero creo que la espina aún sigue ahí. Con los dedos lo voy palpando, cierro los puños, escapa de aquí. Agonizando, no me espera el tiempo, no voy a esperar por ti.
Nuestras huellas en la orilla se han borrado por la marea. Si esas estrellas ya no brillan, las entiendo pa' que veas. Sea donde sea, bajo la tormenta o dentro de la odisea, donde arañas cubren el cielo de tela, los aviones nadan y los barcos vuelan. Aunque parezca que va bien, no sabes bien si va mal. Besos que pueden doler, ojos que pueden matar. Tengo mi alma en el almacén encerrada, mi corazón está en huelga, mis sentimientos en ámbar. Gente, Calamala dijo que estaría presente. Fallaron como nunca, se fueron para siempre. Millones de razones para vengarme, pero a veces duele más actuar indiferente.
Como no quieren ver ahogados, tenemos branquias y cerrados los bronquios como la mente de un guardia. Yo soy la montaña y vine con la cordillera. Más cojones que tu ganga tiene una madre soltera. Tú cúbrete si suena a mí, tú. A mí lo tengo soldado fumando de su palulu. Y un conjuro de grimorio me lo salva del velorio. Pa' tener pila valorio, se matan vestidos de emporio. Y yo no quiero una pistola, estoy soñando que la vida que quería me llega a tiempo. Desde que yo la vi sola, loco ando. Vino a verme cuando el sol se estaba poniendo y se dejó una pluma y se perdió en la bruma. Nunca se despidió de mí, nunca se despidió de mí.
Vivo en un mundo que parece roto y sé que no, porque todo es perfecto y lo debo plasmar. Me fumo un troco lo tras otro y lo veo todo otro color. Me siento libre porque vuelvo a conectar. Mi gente sufre y no lo puedo evitar, más que dándole consejos siempre desde la humildad. Es su camino hacia la fraternidad. Solo puedo que enseñarles a respetar y amar. Con esta bendición, como no voy a aprovechar los códigos que llegan, los tenemos que aceptar. Si me reencarné fue para ayudar y no para malgastar mi tiempo en beneficio del mal. En la unión nace la fuerza y eso nos hace juntar las ganas que siempre tuvimos para iluminar a la gente que se le ocurra y la malla armonizar. Vinimos para dar fuego a la que no nos va a quemar.
Arda y por dentro la llama, no puedo contener la ras. Churruscao el corazón, el armazón no puede llegar a pesarme más. Si abro la boca, tu tumba al suelo, me muelo a diario y sobrado de gas. Escupo ristas perfectas, paladas de versos eternos, no mueren jamás. Cuando acabe mi condena, me vi muy solo y perdido. Cada vez más negra la flema, más elegante el problema, pero planté cara a todos mis enemigos. Recuperé las ganas, las fuerzas y el garbo. Dedico requiems a mis diablos, que aquí estoy vivo de milagro. Delicadas flores crecieron entre los cardos. Me dicen bien, es más delgado que de costumbre. Será de tanto que he bailado en el alambre, que a tanta pena es mejor no ponerle nombre. Llevamos la música en vena, nuestra sangre.
Rewrite disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material
Recording.
is under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
En la Plaza de Reyes, Black Sumenta, Soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber?
¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, faltóme. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flojo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Elevé mi level con un label y un Faber Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tabua? Juro por mis aguas que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchado neto, búscame por pico sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi bro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle tacopón. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjeme decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el Black Shit, Black Sea Metal de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, soplón.
Dinero Luigi, man, desde Peña, en la victoria, para que sepa. Incas Mo, Money Gang, gang, yeah, yeah, Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lele, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. Tan super fina la doto quizá y metido en latina aprendiendo un quizá. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nadie la tiene, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, tiene que respetar. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás. La calle limeña aquí nada le duele, ya nada es igual. Tiene que respetar, si yo soy tu papá. Cinco Mob, negro. Cinco Mob, nigga. Nero Luigi, man. Incas Mob, yeah. It's Money Gang, 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 yeah.
Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3.
Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya hinco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under, puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dandy. Antes que me branden, yo seré la ola que los expande. esto me pique en la madera. No sirven ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Yo espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante por querer lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito para que el mundo conociéramos de esta parte mejor interprete que parido de esta cordillera. Sin luz afuera, que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiembla el pavimento. Cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas. La calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro. Que a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clon de clon en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega el balón. Y para esta pantalla no soy el patrón, yo ya me sé la cuestión y doy fue por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final Mbappé con la edad de bufón. Brillando en la maldita casa, Plaza de Rey y papá. El héroe Luigi Black Cimental, hip hop peruano, rasgo en la maldita base. Yao, yao, yao.
Shalom, family. Shalom, 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 man. I appreciate y'all being here today. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me turn that down. That's a little echo there. Oh, hey, fam. Listen, I'm using a temporary. I got like a little setup here at the house. It's a video that I want to do some reruns because more likely tomorrow I may not be able to do this. So I wanted to do the intro with because I don't have access to like all my files. But we're gonna look at we're gonna watch this video, right? But we're gonna actually gonna watch this one first. Ancient Watchmen prophecy. The reason I share this is because I want to remind you guys all where in case some of y'all don't know where this all started. Okay. I know that a couple of these brothers they have a different belief now, I guess. But that's not my concern. The Most High does things for a purpose. I just am. I find it very intriguing. You know, everybody is like a brick, and we all add to the understanding. At that time, these brothers right here, which I'm about to show you, they went as far as letting us know who Canaan was identifying as, right? But a lot of the comments or statements or things that they were showing didn't. They were solid, but not solidifying. You know what I'm saying? Big difference. So let's listen into this class. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. Again, I don't listen to any of them. I know that one of them, you know, specifically one is bugged out, but that's not the point. We see what goes on to these bugged out BHIs. And you know what, family? The reason I'm also doing this is because look, we were doing a class earlier, right, regarding Christmas trees and all that. And Yehudi, the little booty or the big booty, whichever one she is, she comes and tries to tell us some shit. So no matter what we do, fam, Canaanites are always going to come here and bug us. So I might as well just give them a little bit of their taste, okay? So let's remind them, like where this whole Canaan stuff started, how it began, who was kind of mentioning certain things, what were their concepts, why were they thinking these things? And then I'm going to show you my video, which several of my videos actually connect the remaining dots. Now, I'm not saying I'm any better than these brothers, not at all. We all work together. So again, listen, it's a late class. I don't expect people to be here. There's only about two of y'all. All glory. Experto! Now that I get your name, bro. Shalom, bro. Vicky's Town Chronicles, man. I appreciate your classes, dude. We gotta maybe talk, man. Get together, bro. I think it'd be a good idea. We may be about the same age. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Okay. Anyways, let's begin, my family. Let's begin, my familia. So again, this is from Ancient Watchmen. You guys are welcome to follow this guy if you want. I don't suggest it, but you know, 'cause I don't think he's done anything much. But anyways, that's Lord willing, man. The Most High brings him back. If that's his calling. All right, let's begin. I'll shut up now. Wait. Matter of fact, let me do if I can do this. Okay, give me a second. Let me see if I can do this. They say I was going to add it the other day. I didn't. Give me a second. I don't know why it's not. Oh, come on. What? Yes. No, I thought I had it. I don't have it. Wow, that's crazy. This is very crazy. I thought I had. Well, I guess I will show you eventually. What I'm going to do right now, family, is I am going to download Telegram, and then I'm going to show you something that I found on Telegram. I mean, not found on Telegram. I uploaded on Telegram. It's a book that I've been wanting to talk to you guys about, and it's the characteristics of these Canaanites. Okay. Now, give me a second here. Also, you brothers that actually were doing some prayers for my family, I really appreciate you. It has helped a lot, from what I've noticed. So I thank you again. Thank you very much, brothers. Please, I here at the household appreciate your prayers. Thank you. You helped out my son tremendously because he was having a very hard time. Anyways, let's begin. All right, I'm gonna play the video. Let's go.
But thou sayest, there is no hope. No, for I have loved strangers, and after them will I go.
See, that's been Israel's problem always. We have always loved the other nations.
And their God.
And their God, and we wanted to follow them.
What is the duty of a watchman? You know, what are we supposed to be doing as the watchmen of Yashar Allah?
Every other Negro will refuse to talk about who Canaan is because they don't know who Canaan is. They've never been taught who Canaan is. Because once they start learning who Canaan is, then they realize that they're Canaanites.
Yeah, and like we've been telling you brothers, Latinos, Native Americans, these West Africans are not Israelites. That's going to be the hardest pill for you to swallow. Why? Because a lot of our people are hard-headed, stiff-necked Israelites. The Most I told you, listen, I'm going to leave these Canaanites amongst you. I'm going to leave the Philistines amongst you to serve you as a test to see if you're going to keep the commandments or not. When you read Judges chapter 3, 1 and 6, it tells you that even during the times of Joshua, our people didn't keep the commandments. And our people fell by following after the Canaanites and their customs and their gods. And that's exactly what's going on today. It's nothing new under the sun.
All right, we back. We have a live debate or discussion that I'm gonna have with the brother. First and foremost, I give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh, and I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Meshiacha Chronicles. Of course, many of y'all who are tuning in know me. I'm Chief Priest Alex Auburn Lawyer, aka the Guerrilla Hebrew. I'm joined by my brother Quinal Lawa. For those of y'all that aren't familiar with the brother, I'm gonna give himself a chance to introduce himself and give, I guess, like a brief background on himself. He's been teaching on YouTube for years. I've known and been, acquainted with the brother, and built with the brother as well, and things of that nature. So I'm gonna let the brother introduce himself, and then we can kind of proceed into tonight's discussion. So without any further ado, go ahead, Ak.
Shalom, Yashar. It's your boy Kunalawa. I'm sure a lot of people know who I am. Like Brother Alazar said, I've been on YouTube for a while, about 4 years now. I've been on Facebook a little longer than that. teach.
Now, I want to say this. I saw this video a few years back. It was just reminded of. It was brought to my attention again. I thought I'd share it because again, where topic is at hand. And the funny part is about this Sakari dude. After he finished this recording with him, I don't know if it was live or not. He uploaded another video right after that, and he was talking shit. Like he was just talking mad crap. Throughout this whole so-called conversation, he never was aggressive with this guy. But as soon as he hung up with him, he had a different attitude. So, again, what's this whole gangster shit? I beg to differ. But anyways, that's besides the point. Let's continue, okay? Just so you guys can know. So I think what I'm going to do, by the way, is I'm going to let it play like 30 minutes, maybe. And then I'm going to bring in my video 30 minutes. And then it's going to go back and forth. See how it goes. It might actually help us understand what he was saying at this time. And how we connected the dots. And it wasn't of any fleshly. It was of the spirit of the Most High. All right? So let's begin.
Teaching the word, trying to wake the nation, everything for the glory of Yahweh, trying to extol his name above all. So, we've just been teaching around, going around, doing all kinds of stuff. And now we're here to have a little discussion about certain topics. So, take it away.
Salaki. All right, most definitely. All praises. I got a few questions lined up. So I guess for starters, the first question we want to ask to kind of lay the foundation is basically what tribe are you from and do you identify with?
I identify most with Levi.
Okay, perfect. How did you come to the conclusion that you are likely a Levite?
Well, started out with a bunch of people, just saying so, just like, hey man, you kind of fit this. Hey man, you kind of fit this, from a lot of people. And then if you just go through scriptures, man, one of the main, prerequisites of that is the temple knowledge. Only Levites, were the ones to minister the temple, and especially the knowledge and stuff, especially the priest line, from Aaron. So just off of a few things like that, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have been able to even touch the temple if I wasn't.
Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, my next question would be, who are the Negroes that are victims of the transatlantic slave trade? What would be their biblical identity or nationality?
Pedro Kumba! Hey, that's funny, bro. Uh-oh, there goes Chief Dumbass of Sakari. Hold on a second. I got this right here. At least I got a little bit of that partial. This is like the equipment I first started with like last year, about almost 2 years ago. It was like, basic stuff. I have it here at the house for emergency purposes too. Oh, shoot. My battery's going to die. All right, so let me actually play it and then let me charge the battery, okay? I'll let it play. I'll shut up now.
The West Africans, right? The transatlantic slave trade?
Yes, sir.
Those would be Hamites, mainly Canaanites and Philistines.
Okay, mainly Canaanites and Philistines.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I just say Egyptians is a broad term, but Philistines are pretty much Egyptians anyway. So.
Yeah, they come from Israel. Okay, makes sense. So my next question would be, who are the southern and northern kingdoms of Israel today?
Well, are we just talking like Western Hemisphere or all over?
It is I guess as descriptive as you can, all over.
Okay, well, there's like a huge bulk of us over here in the West, of course, we know. So-called Native Indians, so-called Chicanos, Latinos, whatever you want to call us, There's also a lot of so-called Negroes or so-called Black people that are a part of that as well. They were here before Columbus, and they're also part of the Northern Kingdom. So everybody pretty much, not everybody, because there was some Hamites here, the Olmecs, But for the majority, the native peoples of the Americas prior to Columbus, those are, Israelites of the Northern Kingdom. Of course, we know through Second Esdras that, we came here. This is Arsreth. We also have a lot of brothers scattered elsewhere, because not every single Northern Kingdom brother came to the Americas. There's also brothers spread out through the East. A lot of them went to Japan. A lot of them went to Australia. Some of them went to the Philippines, some of them went to Russia. So we're kind of scattered everywhere, but there's certain little things that you can identify them with, obviously. But we're pretty much everywhere. And then Southern Kingdom is the same thing, pretty much. We're everywhere. We're throughout, the whole world. But the Southern Kingdom predominantly came from Egypt, and they migrated. There's still a lot of them in Africa, in the eastern parts, in northern Africa. There's some that are scattered to the east in India and all that stuff, and then also in Europe. Some of them were even brought to America as slaves, but predominantly those are known as gypsies since they came from Egypt. It's a misnomer, just like how Moses was called an Egyptian when he went into the land of Midian fleeing from Egypt. He wasn't an Egyptian, but they called him an Egyptian. Same thing is what's happening now. They call them gypsies, but, and not to say every single gypsy is the Southern Kingdom. But, there are a lot of them that were brought to America that people don't know. And they assimilated into the natives and into the Chicano tribes, you know what I mean? The Latin tribes, to hide identity, you know what I mean? So there's actually a lot of brothers that are walking around that think they're, Latino, but they're really from Europe. They were just brought here as slaves, especially to like the islands and stuff like that too. But it's different labels, different places as well, you know what I mean? So it just depends. since they came from Egypt. It's a misnomer, just like how Moses was called an Egyptian. So we're kind of scattered everywhere, but there's certain little things that you can identify them with, obviously. But you know, we're pretty much everywhere. And then Southern Kingdom is the same thing, pretty much. We're everywhere. We're throughout, you know, the whole world. But the Southern Kingdom predominantly came from Egypt, and they migrated. You know, there's still a lot of them in Africa, in the eastern parts and northern Africa. There's some that are scattered to the east in India and all that stuff, and then also in Europe. Some of them were even brought to America as slaves, but predominantly those are known as gypsies since they came from Egypt. It's a misnomer, just like how Moses was called an Egyptian when he went into the land of Midian fleeing from Egypt. He wasn't an Egyptian, but they called him an Egyptian. Same thing as what's happening now, you know, they call them gypsies, but, you know, and not to say every single gypsy is the Southern Kingdom, but, you know, there are a lot of them that were brought to America that people don't know, and they assimilated into the natives and into the Chicano tribes, you know what I mean, the Latin tribes, they, to hide identity, you know what I mean, so there's actually a lot of brothers that are walking around that think they're, you know, Latino, but they're really from Europe. They were just brought here as slaves, especially to like the islands and stuff like that too. But it's different labels, different places as well. You know what I mean? So it just depends on where you're at.
Okay. So is there documentation of gypsies being brought to America in slavery?
Yes, there it is.
Can you like reference any sources off top so I can look into it? Because I've never heard that before.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there were slaves in Europe for even longer, for 400 years in some parts. And then a lot of them were kicked out. You know, they just kind of shipped them over here as slaves, and some of them were even known all over the place. But let me get that for you real fast. Slovakia, I didn't grab that information. Ready, handy. You know what I mean? I just kind of prepared for the other ones. But just give me 1 second, and we will see if you can find that for you. And then I also have the documentation to show that the Northern Kingdom was shipped all over, like to Africa and stuff too.
Okay, good stuff. Okay.
Let's see. Okay, we got one right here. Give me 1 second for it to load. Okay. Let's see. Here's the thing, is a little excerpt. The most complete list of gypsy sentenced to transportation appears in, quote, this is where you can find it, Directory of Scots Banished to American Plantations, 1650 to 1775, by David Dobson, 1984, Baltimore, Maryland. Genealogical Publishing Company. That's one of the sources that talks about that, because it talks about other slaves as well. But you can also find extracts from Ian F. Hancock, and he talks about how during colonial period, Western Europe nations dealt with their gypsy problem by transporting them in large numbers overseas. The Spanish shipped gypsies to their American colonies, including Spanish Louisiana, as part of their Solución Americana. The French sent numbers to the Antilles, and the Scots, English, Dutch to North America and the Caribbean. Cromwell shipped Romanical gypsies, right, from Britain as slaves to the southern plantations. There's documentation of gypsies being owned by freed black slaves in Jamaica, and in both Cuba and Louisiana today, there are Afro-Romani populations, so they're mixing down there as well. But yeah, you can check out it pops up real easy if you find it. There's even like a little, I don't know if you can see a picture, and that gypsy lady looks a lot like a Native American or a Latina.
Okay.
Darker, you know, you see, and then there's her little slave master. Obviously, he's white, Caucasian.
Okay.
So there's that, and then let's see, what else? Let me see if I can find something. It also talks about them coming from Egypt, because there's like a theory out there, just a lot of propaganda, just like there always is, about a lot of the gypsies coming from India, but they didn't really come from India. They went to India, and they actually came from Egypt. And another source to to verify that is Manly P. Hall in Secret Teachings of All Ages.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Very interesting.
And then,
Go ahead.
and then also Samuel Roberts in his book as well talks about that. It's called The Gypsies by Samuel Roberts, and it was quoted by the Masons.
Okay.
So, even they know, and they have it in their documentation just as well. You could also look in Secret Teachings of All Ages, and there's a chapter dedicated to like the natives, and it mentions that we were Israelites in that as well. So that's a pretty interesting little thing. Just throw that out there.
Okay, most definitely. My next question with all that in mind would be, where is the modern day Babylon or land of the north that's talked about in prophecy?
The Americas, of course.
Okay, the Americas. So that would mean you agree that there are a substantial amount of both kingdoms here going through a collective oppression in the Americas?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay, perfect. My next question would be, where are the Canaanites today? Or who are they? Where are they predominantly?
The Canaanites are actually kind of spread all over. You can find them in all parts of the world. The Arabs took them all the way over to the east, spread them all over. Like the cities, an example of that is the Siddi people, Siddi, from India. And they still dress like the Canaanites used to dress. And they even still practice some of their old culture. Because the city, right, in the Hebrew, there was the people of Sidon, right? We've heard of Sidon.
Yes, sir.
And in Hebrew, it's Sadai, right? Or some people would say city or Sadai, you know what I mean? So that's where the city comes from. It's like a perversion of it, you know how names get twisted, especially through transliteration and whatnot.
Yeah.
We see that in examples of the scriptures, especially when they translated it from like Zerubbabel and then Zorobabel, you know what I mean? It's like the same fucking shit. So it's the same thing, Sadai or city. And Sadai actually in the Hebrew means fisherman. And the city are fishermen. Like they still practice that of their old culture to this day. And they're like part of the lower caste system in India, you know what I mean? Part of like the Untouchables and all that shit, you know? Because you've got Cushites over there as well. Those are like the Dravidians, you know? You got Cushites that mixed with the Elamites, you know, and they're still over there. And those are like what they call the blue black people or whatever. That's where they get their imagery for Krishna and all that shit, you know, all the blue gods and whatnot. Yeah. So there's them, you know, that's like an example of them in the East. In the West, they came over here, you know, in transatlantic slavery. A lot of the Edomites brought them over here. They were sold by other Africans. Africans never liked the other Canaanites, or the Canaanites, their African brethren. They'd never liked them since way back in the day. And so they sold them up. They came here, you know, a lot of them are the Moors, what people call the Moors nowadays. And they even tell you that they're Canaanites themselves. And they're Masons. So, you know, they all have this hidden knowledge, secret knowledge that they slowly disseminate through the universities. Because we know that all the universities, which is what we try to get our main documentation from, right? To be as legit as we can be. You know, scholarly research and whatnot, we know that they get their degrees from the Masons. You know, those guys run the mystery schools, which run the universities, you know what I mean? So really, you know, if you want to get it straight from the horse's mouth, you go to them. And they themselves, if you look up the Moorish Science Temple website, they'll break it down through the Holy Seven, the Circle 7 Quran that they call. It talks about that noble Drew Ali, totally goes through all the history, and then they quote other historians talking about how the Canaanites had went into Africa. Since the time of Joshua, a lot of them fled. Even Yahweh talks about it in the Torah, you know, it says that he would drive a lot of the Canaanites out from before us. And then we went and warred with a lot of them, of course. We killed a lot of them. A lot of them stayed, you know what I mean? So, but predominantly, and then, in fact, there still is Canaanites in Africa. I mean, not Africa, sorry. That's horrible to call them Africa. But they're still in the Orient today. They're still in the land of Judea. And in fact, you can see them on some YouTube videos. If you want to check it out, they say that they say that they're Canaanites, and then they also say that they're reaching out to their brethren that are in the Americas to come home. And this is all in like YouTube videos of people that are in the Middle East talking with these Aboriginal Canaanites that are still there. A lot of them came to America, spread out. It's just like how it was back then. You know what I mean? Like if you read in the book of Judges, it says that Yahweh left a remnant of the Canaanites with us, and he also left the 5 lords of the Philistines as a test to us, and for those that never experienced the wars of Canaan, you know, because obviously we didn't go through those wars. That was thousands of years ago. So, you know, things repeat in the Torah. We know there's spiritual aspects of the Torah. We know these things keep going over and over. So that's one of those aspects that we have to look at is like, well, do we have those Canaanites and do we have those Philistines among us? You know what I mean? And then it talks about in the Torah and Zechariah how there won't be any more Canaanites in the house of Yahweh. You know, so it's like, well, you know, if they're not going to be in there anymore, they obviously are now. And then that goes back to even further when you know, Solomon built his temple, he had Canaanites help him. Nothing but a bunch of Canaanite labor. And the king also supplied a lot of the shit for it. So this is part of like also the temple mysteries and what it's telling us and what these symbols mean to us now. Because remember, Torah is eternal, so it's past, present, future. These things keep repeating themselves. More so now in the spiritual aspect, of course, you know, but we're still living the lives as our forefathers did. You know, we're going through the events that they went through just in our own way in modern times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So with that in mind, my question would be: how do we differentiate between who of the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, the Negroes that were brought here, who are the Canaanite or the Philistine, and who are the Israelite?
Hey, fam, I had to move around a little bit, so I'm glad he actually asked that question, right? Let me now interject in this part here. So I'm going to take you back and forth with some videos so they can understand, get an idea of what we're doing, okay? So just bear with me here real quick. Hold on. I'm going to put a different video here. Hold on, all right? Hold on. Okay, here we go. So he says, how do we identify them? How do we differentiate them? Like, how do we know? How do we know these things? Well, we're going to find out. Let's find out how we know these things. All right, let's go. You can see that some people use this knowledge, wisdom, and they make themselves so glorified as if it was a spiritual thing and, you know, like God talked to them. No, fam. It's from books. Okay? Keep that in mind. This is why the scripture said, be mindful of these fake prophets, because they'll even show signs and wonders, so much so that they'll almost convince the very elect. So this is from, come on. This is from a book called The Perils of the Republic by Mercy T. Megan. Okay. All right, we're going to start page 100. And I'm going to look for something real quick. It's on top. Okay. Watch what it reads. Again, the topic at hand is these horses are swifter than leopards. And then also, they involve these 2 horns. So let's begin. On the other hand, if they are made dependencies as it is now seriously proposed to do, then we shall, for the first time since the abolition of slavery, again have 2 kinds of Americans. Let's repeat that again. Again, have 2 kinds of Americans after the abolition. Americans of the first class, who enjoy the privilege of taking part of the government in accordance with our old constitutional principles, and Americans of the second class,
who are to be ruled in substantially arbitrary fashion by the Americans of the first class. Though congressional legislation and the actions of nation executives, not to speak of individual masters, arrogating to themselves powers beyond the law. So we're talking about a two type of class here. Let's continue. There will be a difference no better, nay, rather somewhat worse than that which a century or quarter ago existed between Englishmen of the first class and Englishmen of the second class. Huh. Two kinds of people. It says, I believe this is all I need in this page. We do, let's see, hold on. Okay, let's hit on this one. Page 58, 158. All right, let's go. Let's go here. In the case of these cities, the limits of God's forbearance had been reached. The hour of their population had closed. It was useless to give their inhabitants a further opportunity for salvation. They had sinned away their day of grace and were given over to wickedness. You guys can understand what that's talking about, but I want to get to the point. The same God who watched over the nation of the Amorites and destroyed them when their cup of iniquity was full. The same God who kept records of the gay pleasures and grievous sins of people of Sodom and Gomorrah, who consumed them in fearful flames when they had passed the unseen line. That same one also watched over the Republic of Rome and is keeping watch over the Republic of the United States. In the wonderful prophecy traced with the pencil of the Holy Ghost, the history of these last two is written. And it is written long before either came into existence. Now, keep in mind that for a very long time, we've been told that it was only a particular nation of people who was pushing Christianity. We were wrong. Let's continue. There are many who believe that the church is not. I need to read that. Let's see. No. Let's see. Prophets are sent to the kings as well as a mountain. Okay, cool. Let's go to page 159. Let's go at the bottom. It says, in the Bible, by the pen of prophet Daniel, or the Revelator John, end of the Revelator John, we have in advance of its enactment the history of Rome and United States, the two great republics of the West. Daniel spake and said, okay? I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven stroke upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse ones, one from another. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wing. So it's talking about the last kingdoms, okay? Assyrian, Persian, Greek. And a man's heart was given to it. I'm sorry, no, I skipped it. Behold, the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings, and I beheld the wings whereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet of it as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like a bear, and raised itself up from one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth. So he's talking about Persian Mede. Okay. I skipped it, but let me get to my point. I didn't really have to read all that. Let me show you this real quick. All right, here goes. And today, no man can intelligently read that history of the Republic of Rome before any audience in the United States without that audience seeing the Republic of the United States perfectly outlined up to date. Now a point particularly to be considered is that this history of the Republic of Rome was sketched in the book of Daniel 340 years before it occurred. And then that sketch was closed up and sealed. Not for 340 years, not till 198 BC and onward, but for 2400 years till the time of the end. Okay? Why was the sketch of Rome Republic written and then closed up and sealed until a time 2,000 years after the Republic had failed as a republic and became imperial? It was because at this time, at the time of the end, there would be another republic that would go over the same course as it did that republic, would apostatize from republicanism to imperialism. Remember that. Moreover, it was a state composed of this apostasy of a republic into imperialism. It was such a state with which the apostate church of early days, the man of sin of the Bible, united, and this union made the papacy the first beast of the Bible, as mentioned in Revelation 13. All right, so they're talking about the church. But let's continue. In the same 13th chapter of Revelation, it is written, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, which we just read. Out of the earth? I'm sorry. Oh, great. No. What did I do? Oh, great. No, I got the wrong one. So here, this one on the bottom, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So lambs don't have horns, fam. Rams have horns. So it's like kind of the scriptures say, wolves dressed as sheep. Same thing. It'll act docile, but it'll have power. Here is depicted the rise of the United States coming up peacefully. Oh, there it goes. Out of the earth. Oh, well, you know the whole rule. We're here to convert, supposedly. Instead of forming amid long years of tumult and fighting, as was the case with the other powers, it is represented as having 2 horns like a lamb. A horn in prophecy signifies power. And the 2 great principles which have given power to the United States and made her what she is today, watch this, are Protestantism and republicanism, or democratism and republicanism, or black, or white, or the North and the South, fighting for the 13 colonies, fighting for keeping slavery. You see, we constantly get to see, we're being reminded of who these people, who are these horns? You see, because some schools tell you, oh, it's just the Democrats and the white folks. But we see right now that these same people, these 2 horns are voting. They've been voting since they got here, since they passed these laws to vote. We've never been part of it. You look up the statistics right now. You find out who is the most that votes. It's not us. 2 nations of people. Remember, I told you we had black conquistadors, white conquistadors, Europe and Africa. 2 horns. Don't let these idiots lie to you. Had 2 horns like a lamb. What story did they give us? Oh, poor me. Oh, they put me through these tough times in slavery. They acted so innocent. Did we know that these things were happening? Did we know that they owned slaves? No, we didn't know. But check this. Remember, who would these people be? And where would they come from? Let's remind them and let's identify them once more. Deuteronomy 28:4. So let's continue to go a few minutes on this identification, and then we'll switch back to Brother Konab. All right. 49. Let's pay close attention to this, because we're going to be back in this verse again. The Lord shall bring a nation against you from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We are very clear now that it's not talking about the relationship between Europe and Africa. You guys are a skip and a hop away from each other. Stop lying. Okay? Then it says, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Well, let me remind you that there were several people in Africa when they conquered, because we're going to see it. You guys spoke all European languages. So that's not a tongue that you don't understand. So then this must mean something to us. We have to now analyze it like, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. So let's see. What do you mean? Swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Okay? Watch this real quick. Isaiah 5:26. It reminds us, it's telling us everywhere, I'm all over the Bible. It tells us who they are and who they're going to be. Isaiah 5:26 says, and he lifted up an ensign to the nations from afar, and will hiss unto them from the end of the earth, like, psst, psst. And behold, they shall come with speed swiftly. None shall be weary, none shall be weary nor stumble among them. None shall slumber nor sleep, neither shall the girdles of their loins be loosened, nor the latchet of their shoes be broken. You see, they're going to be ready, whose arrows are sharp, and their bows bent. Their horses' hoof shall be counted like flint, and their wheels like wheelbarrows. There's an actual book, and I just thought about it. I don't know why I didn't think about it before. I'm not going to segue, but it says it doesn't say it exactly like that. It mentions the hoofs and the flint and the horses. Let's continue. The same nation, these nations, their roaring shall be like a lion, and shall roar like young lions. Yea, they shall roar and lay hold of the prey, and shall carry it away safe, and none shall deliver it. And in that day they shall roar against them like the roaring of the sea. If one look unto the land, there behold darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened in the heavens thereof. So now we see lots of trouble potentially happening from afar. A nation from afar. Well, who is this nation? Jeremiah 5:15. Watch this. It says, lo, I will bring. Wait, do I want to read 14? Yeah, let's read 14. It says, wherefore thus say the Lord God of hosts, because ye speak these words, behold, I will make my words into thy mouth fire, and these people wood, and I shall devour them. Watch this. Lo, I bring a nation upon you from afar, O house of Israel, saith the Lord. It is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation. A nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understandeth what they say. You see, this cannot be them too, because they know each other. Stop lying to you. Stop lying to yourself, Canaan. This isn't you, but I'm going to show you who you guys are. Their quivers is as open as the sepulchre. They are all mighty men. Watch this. And they shall eat up thine harvest and thy bread, which thy sons and thy daughters shall eat. They shall eat it up of thy flocks and thy herds. They shall eat up thy vines and thy fig trees. They shall impoverish thy fenced cities, wherein thou trusted with the sword. If you guys remember the book, the Maya Conquistadors, they literally say this. 21 padres, all black, taking their food, taking their living, their homes, and no pay nothing. I don't want to look through it. I'm reading it more like it's coming to me now. Well, praises to the Most High. But I've showed you guys that book before. It's called Maya Conquistadors. Exactly this right here is happening. And it says that they shall eat up thine harvest, meaning this land where they'll come to would be a land you would be working on, and they would take it from you. This nation from afar, an ancient nation, the language you Jews do not know and understand it what they say. We don't get anything they do, fam. Do you guys really? I mean, I'm telling you, man, I still don't understand this nation of people. Neither one of them. I mean, you got the alphabet team, you got Sodom and Gomorrah again. You got the raping, the pillaging. I mean, to have that spirit, you're pretty wicked, man. Y'all are pretty wicked as nations, straight up. Pretty wicked. So let's identify one of them. Jeremiah 49. Let's go. I won't take too long. I'm going to get through it quick. Jeremiah 49 and 22, because I have some videos to show you. It says here real quick. Behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle. Again. And spread his wings over Bozrah. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom, here we go, Edom, be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Let me see if I can get that translation. 22. And the army will attack Bozrah like an eagle swooping down with outspread wings. If you look at Europe and Africa, they're kind of like that. On that day, Edom's soldiers will be as frightened as a woman in labor. Oh, did I pick the wrong one? Yeah, no, I got it right. So here we see Edom will be coming as an eagle, right? All right, now let's go here. We've heard this so many times. I don't want to repeat it again and again because this is what One West teaches you, right? Okay. Joel 3, but they don't tell you who Canaanites are, or Tyre, or Phoenicians. They don't tell you. Tyre, they don't tell you. They say it's some people over there. Okay, let's go. It says, Joel 3:1. It says, the Lord said, at that time I will restore the prosperity of Judah and Jerusalem, and I will gather all the nations and bring them to the valley of judgment, the judgment seat. There I will judge them for all they have done to my people. They have scattered the Israelites in foreign countries and divided Israel, my land. We know that. They threw dice to the, oh no, sorry, my bad. Wrong translation. They have cast lots for my people. Like, hey, you take this portion. Encomiendas. Do you guys know what encomiendas are? Exactly that. They have cast lots for my people. You get this portion. You get that portion. You get these people. You get that people. You know how I brought a lot of books up. You guys know that. And have given a boy for a harlot. We know from material I've showed you that they took the women and the men. Choice. God knows what they were doing to them. I mean, I can't. Oh God, I don't want to think about it. Let's see. And sold a girl for wine that they may drink. We know that's happened. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, Tyre and Zidon? This is in Joel, remember? Joel. Or Joel, sorry. I'm sorry, Joel, sorry. And all the coasts of Palestine, would ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my good, godly, pleasant things. The children of also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, ye have sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their borders.
How do we, distinguish who's who?
Now let's go back. Right. It would be the same answer that everybody gives for, to the prior narrative, the narrative that's played now before I threw a monkey wrench into everything. The Latino tribes, right? You have to test the spirit whether these brothers are mixed with fucking Europeans and they're actually Edomites, or are they actually native Israelites? You know what I mean? And we got a lot of that shit going on. So that's the thing, is that everybody kind of like took it wrong. You know what I mean? It wasn't running around saying all Negroes are fucking Hamites. That's dumb. You know, not running around saying, "Oh, fuck everybody." There's no way you can tell all this shit. You know what I mean? There's ways to tell. There's you know, things that we can go by to help us do that. And one of them is to just go through the research, you know, and the history. And we know that those people from West Africa that were brought here were predominantly Hamite, and it's in the records. Like, so many fucking people talk about it. And then we have to look at Torah and the prophecies, right? And we see that Canaanites were cursed to be these slaves of slaves, these lowest of slaves. That's like saying King of Kings or Lord of Lords. You know what I mean? Or you're the fucking
But in the opposite way.
yeah, but we, you know, yeah, but exactly in the opposite way. So King of Kings is like there's a bunch of kings, but that's the king of the kings. So slave of slaves is like saying, well, there's slaves, but then these guys are the slaves. You know what I mean? Like these dudes are the top of the slaves. And you know, through seeing this, like that. See, the problem is that we got to see that there's a conspiracy. You know, and we know that through Psalms 83. There's a conspiracy against our people to push us into to push us into folly. Been having bad allergy problems. Push us into folly and to keep us underneath the control of the heathen, right? Well, if we read in Psalms 83, it gives us the list of those nations. Well, amongst those nations are the Philistines and the Canaanites. You know what I mean? And so we have to really take a step back and look at this and be like, okay, well, it mentions this in the Torah. So how is this happening now? And an example of that is given is in the Falasha Jews in Ethiopia. A lot of people think that those are Israelites, and that's not to say that there aren't Israelites in Ethiopia that look black and blah, 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 and all this stuff, okay? But the Falashas themselves are not Israelites.
Yeah, well,
And
if
it's
I
in
can
the name.
comment to that real quick.
Right.
I know brothers who they've been starting to go to Israel pretty regularly, like a couple times a year. You know, elders from House of David, you know, who came out of the West, and they say that the level of racism that they experience from the Ethiopians in Israel, the Falashas, is worse than the racism that they felt from white people in America.
Yes, and the reason for that is because what does falasha mean, right? Let's take that word falasha. Falasha is the root word for Philistine. You know what I mean? It's the same word, and it means immigrant, and that's what they are. Notice that the Ethiopians were given fucking status in Israel. People just went and picked them up and took them the fuck home. What the hell is that? You know what I mean? And then all they do is practice Judaism.
We got to watch, the type of groups, because I've been researching, and there's certain groups that, all over the world, you have, for example, I know brothers been talking about the Inca Jews, brothers in Peru. Then you have certain groups in Africa. You have a group here, a group there. But for some
the
reason,
pagans in India and shit, right?
But for some reason, Jewry, what they call, or you know, the state of Israel, is accepting some of these people and saying, yeah, these are, but then other ones are not accepted. So I would think, just logically analyzing how they operate, the ones who they're accepting are the ones who aren't Israelites, and the ones who are not being accepted, who started following Torah and then later learned about Judaism and then converted to it, thinking that this would get them accepted. I believe that those will probably be the ones who we can deduce would be Israel versus the other ones who they're just, you know, taking open arms. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And then you just, like I said, you go through the history, and these people were always our enemies, you know, the Philistines, and they've always been known as immigrants. They went from Egypt to Crete, you know, and then they went from Crete to our land and took some of our shit over. And they're still doing the same shit now. See, that's the thing, is there's nothing new under the sun, they say, right? Well, that's one of those things, is that these nations keep doing the same things that they did in ancient times. That's another indicator too. The type of culture and the type of spirit and the type of attitude that these people have, you know, in us included, right? We will portray the same attributes that our forefathers have. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, we come from their loins, bro. We're gonna have the same DNA. We're gonna have the same fucking physical feature. We're just gonna be the same people. So, you know, we have to take a look at that. And that's one of those things that I wanted to bring up, is like the Falasha Jews, man. Like, those dudes are fucking Philistines, man. That's even in the name, the Philistine Jews.
Hey, whoever you are, this is a recording. I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know what the hell you talk about. You come in here telling me that I mixed with the Spaniard, motherfucker. You don't know shit about me. Absolutely nothing. You said we mixed with Astronesians, Polynesians, and man, get the hell out of here with this stupidity, bro. And you're like, Rasa isn't the seed of Israel. With a what? Who are you? Well, let me guess what we are. A bunch of damn Indians, of what you just said right now? Stupid ass motherfucking islanders, right? That's what you want us to be. It's like, for real, thank you. Oh, man, thank you for that shit. It's a colonizer term. What the hell are you talking about? That automatically, you can just tell the brain cells that you're dealing with. So, Ahi, Josh, whatever the hell you are, sit back, watch the recorded video, watch this channel, learn about who I am before you go and open your mouth. Because what I can basically show you is whatever you're saying is completely 100% incorrect. And if you like, I can even bring you on board and we can debate this. Today it's 11:23 p.m. my time. We could do this on a very normal level. You have no emotion. Okay. So now you're saying I have no emotional intelligence because of the way I speak. That really shows a lot about who you are. You're here for the first time and you're telling me you know. It shows a lot about how you think. But again, you are welcome to come tomorrow. I will have a link up. And if you want to debate, we can debate. Let's see how emotionally intelligent you are. And I can show you, I will prove to you that you will bug out. You think it's any better? You're saying I'm a descendant of European, Afro-Asiatic, whatever, and an Asian's no different? Let me guess. What are you, black? Are you a Negro? Is that what you are? Are you a Negro? You're here telling us what we are? What are you? Since you're here telling us what we are, what are you? He's one of those two, that's for sure. Let's see what he says. Let's see how brave he is. Let's see how emotionally intelligent he is. If you can answer that question. I would be black and tell you descended from. Why would I be black? What are you then? Tell me what you are, since you care about race. You even know what an Astronesian is? You even know how to say it? Come on, Nostradamus, hurry up. We'll give you the time of day for a second. It seems like you need some attention. Late night attention. Hopefully you're not drinking, bro. He's an Aboriginal. Oh, so he's a Negro, wannabe Indian. Hell, he's one of those guys, right? Using a bunch of pictures, claiming to be our gente. Using the same books that actually say, Oceania, you came from. Oh, you one of these idiots. Oh my God. You're worse than every single other African that we deal with. You're worse than all of them. Just because you may have a little bit of straight hair don't mean that you're actually from here, man. It just means that you know white people raped your ass, your mama's ass. That's what that happens. That's what that means. Black people are not natives of this land. You can use all these Oceania, Afrocentric, Pan-Africanism. There's a religion called Eastern Star, which is where you guys kind of get all that concept from. How am I worse than? Well, what do you mean you're worse than an African? You are an African. How can you be worse than an African? And you telling me your mom named you Ahi Joes? Well, neither do you, which is funny.
And you call me a dude. So what? How old are you? About 35? Or you a white guy? You haven't told us what nationality you are. Because that's the first thing you came in. That's the first thought that you came in with. So what are you? What do you label yourself? Because you go around labeling people. You see, you're plus you're avoiding the question. So I'm assuming by avoiding it, because again, if you're not emotional, you'll just answer questions. But you see, you're emotional because you're avoiding them. So you haven't answered our question. Oh, and now you don't even know how to spell your own name. Okay. You still haven't answered your question. So what are you? A black Frenchman? Still haven't answered our question. I'm not avoiding anything, but you still haven't answered the question. You come in here telling us what we are, but you don't tell us what you are. What are you, Brainiac? No, actually, I'm not, man. A black conquistador, that's for sure. He still hasn't answered. What he is, he's an African. That's what he is. He's a West African trying to be a native. Thinking that his whole education that he learned from one of his wannabes is going to increase his everlasting learning or some carbon copy of some bullshit. It's just funny to me how you guys actually think. And it's a joke to me how you wabos go around using these books and you don't read the books. You don't read the inside book. Like you don't read the actual letters. I think it's because you probably don't underestimate the difference. Okay, so if you're Hawaiian, what are you doing here? I mean, are we inviting you over here? Are we saying Hawaiians, you're our people? Well, are we trying to be Hawaiian for you to come over here and tell us what we are? You know what you should do? You should continue to eat your pork. Continue to eat your pork. Continue to live that life that you Polynesians want to enjoy. If you are of our people, then you would probably put that shit away. Well, you should learn how to spell your own username, bro. That's really worse. You come in misspelling your name, and then you tell us what we are. And you tell us that we're like from somewhere around where you're from. Almost seems like you want us to be Polynesian. Damn, you're crazy, bro. All right, let's move on with the class. I think this is great. Hey, man, this is going on. This is perfect, bro. This is hurt. It's just a username, Pedro. Yeah, he's weird. Let him be, bro. He's had a lot. I think he may be the one drinking. All right, let's continue. All right, let's go.
To the fucking bro, they're just Philistines that convert, and then they got accepted by the Jews, you know. And see, and that's the thing that I was trying to point out. And I know a lot of brothers get upset and shit like that, but see, that's the thing is that we're ignorant as a people. So a lot of us are told that we're come from the West African slave trade, and we don't. We were here, we were natives, bro, but we got fucking mixed in with these people and labeled the same way. Look at the act, what was it, in Virginia or some shit, everybody always brings that up, of how they labeled Native Americans as Negroes too. You know what I mean? Like that's, and then there's another book that I have, I put it in my video, I have a video about Native Americans, and natives were the first ones to be called Negro before they were even brought over here, right? So you have this, like, you know, this.
Yeah, it's very true. Several migrations. I did a class on that. I'm not saying that. Matter of fact, a lot of us were scattered all over the world. A lot of us. I have maps on it. So, no, I'm not saying that all Hispanics are, or Israel. No, it's not possible. But the Spirit will bear witness at this point. The Spirit bears witness at this point. So, and it's all good, man. That just kind of tell you, brother, that remember, keep in mind, and I showed you this book before. Actually, not a book. It's from the Lutheran newsletter. written September 7th, 1900. And he's writing a newsletter complaining about how the Spaniards or every power at that time did everything possible to completely block the Bible from being printed in our dialect, so-called, or even in Spanish, let alone taught. No, not until 1833 to 1931 were we available to have an actual Bible. And even then it was like the Encyclopedia Britannica, 25 volumes, cost like $300. That's like 10 grand today. Absolutely none of us could afford it. So up until the last maybe 50 years, I think we've had for the first time a hold of the scriptures, like, in the 70s, because even in 1978 or 79, I still remember the last Latin Bible, still doing Bible service on Sundays in Latin. Figure that out. So for me, the way I see it is, why hide who we are? If we're insignificant, why keep God away from us? That old saying that says, so close to America, yet so far from God. Let's continue.
This like, we brought up this conspiracy to keep hiding our people and placing them amongst heathens and trying to say that we're the same as them, right? So we have this thing of where our people keep wanting to relate to the West African slave trade, but a lot of us aren't from that. And that whole thing with the Falasha Jews is the same thing that's going on for the West Africans, especially for the Igbo and shit like that. There's a lot of stuff going around right now. There's a lot of, evidences, people say, and all this stuff about the Igbo and all this stuff. But, like, if you really look at it and if you really take it for what it is and examine it and look at the actual scholars and check out the actual shit that they're talking about, it's all lies, dude. Those people are nothing but fucking converts from fucking colonialism. You know what I mean? Like, they got fucking conquered. They converted because they saw a type of similar parallel between their story and our story, and then they just ran with it,
Yeah, my thing would be, because I learned this line of argumentation from dealing with these Afrocentric cats and guys who are into Egyptology. They'll ask, okay, well, show me, if we're the Israelites, show me these certain tribes, the ones that practice Hebraic culture prior to being Judaized and colonialism. So you really have to look into the very specific tribes and very deep into their culture to see it prior colonialism, or there's even a particular tribe, it escapes me, but how they just utterly refused all forms of colonialism, but their a lot of their customs were Hebraic, a lot of ways in nature. So you have to really delve in, because a lot of the blanketing, and this is why where a lot of Negro only guys will get this argumentation. Oh, the Igbo, they say that this, and they don't realize you have an Igbo running around calling himself a Gadite. He never called himself a Gadite before. He called himself a Gadite because when the white man came and made him converted him to Judaism, he said, "Yeah, you're a Jew, but you're a Northern Kingdom tribe. We're Judah and Levi. You guys are a Northern Kingdom tribe. So just claim one of those." A lot of people do misunderstand that.
Right. See, and that's why I like going to the book Hebrewisms of West Africa, right? So what's funny about that book is that, everyone tries to use that to say, oh, yeah, the West Africans were black Jews and all this stuff. But it's funny because if you actually read that book, it doesn't say that. And yes, there were Hebrewisms found in West Africa, but not Hebrews. See, we always have this problem where we don't analyze the words, right? Everyone always tries to stress the whole Jewish thing. Oh, it's Jewish, it's like or as, but not Jew, it's ish, Well, the same thing with ism, it's Hebrewisms, like, the customs, but where's the actual Hebrews? And some of the customs were there, but then you got to realize that a lot of those customs just came from Canaan in general, of the land, and a lot of the culture had spread through us because we were servants of Muslims. If you read in the book Hebrewisms of West Africa, in fact, if you don't mind, I'll bring up an excerpt from that. It tells us a lot, and it's just that a lot of people don't pay attention. Now, let's see. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me see. Where did I put it? I sent everything to certain. I was trying to keep everything neat, but
All right, so now let me jump back to this over here so you guys can get an understanding of what we're doing, okay? So as you can see, the brother's over here breaking down some examples. So now, as he's looking into this particular book, let me see if I can kind of make sure that we get the connection going on. Because we're going back and forth, by the way. That interview was about 5 years ago, fam. Okay? So we're just trying to, again, bring it back together. This was about almost 5-6 months ago. I redid a class. Anyways, let's go. Oh, hold on. My bad. That's right. My bad. Hold on. I got to switch it like this. I'm not in my comfort place, so let me deal with it now.
Their borders. Who came with them, family? Who's always in hand to hand whenever there's issues? They don't go to us. The hell they go. They don't go to us, man. I don't even want to go there. Lamentations 4:19. Our prosecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. They pursue us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. Again, the eagle. The eagle. Let's go to Hosea real quick. I'm going to start trying to show you guys something else too. All right? Try to get fast on these classes, man. I don't want to be hours in these classes anymore. Hosea chapter 8, verse 1. It says, set the trumpets to thy mouth. He shall come as an eagle against the house of the Lord, because they have transgressed my covenant and trespassed against my law. So keep this in mind, heathens. It's the only reason why this happened to us. It's the only reason why. And now the Messiah had warned us again who that nation would be. He told us who it would be. All right. But before we go there, let's go to this and this. Deuteronomy 28:46. It says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever, until the whole prophecy comes in. Okay. Remember that. What things will be? Watch this. One of the curses. It says, verse 26, and thy carcasses shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air, thy carcasses, and unto the beasts of the earth, and none shall fray them away. Now we know smallpox decimated our people, wars. What was the book? The Imperial, this one here. Let me show you guys real quick. Watch. No, my bad. No. I don't want to leave. Let me show you this real quick, fam. Watch this real quick. I showed you guys this before, but I just want to run it by you real quick. Remember this part. 125 million reduced to 90%. People were hacked apart, axes, swords, burned alive, trampled under horses like the hoofs, hunted as game, and fed to dogs, shot, beaten, stabbed, scalped for bounty, hung on meat hooks, thrown over the ships, worked to death, starved, frozen, forced marches, internment camps, deliberately infected with epidemic diseases. So this would cause for your carcasses to be left there. They're not going to pick them up. What are they going to do? Clean up the blood? And thy carcasses shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. So now, carcasses. Perfect. Deuteronomy 28:49. And the Lord shall bring a nation against you from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. It happened then, and it's going to happen again, and it happened again. So this nation, this particular experience would happen to us, right? And it would be a sign for us to know who they are. So it says here that these people from afar with the sign of an eagle, with the attitude of an eagle, with fierce countenance. They don't give a damn about us, even to this very day. You can see it. A nation whose tongue thou should not understand. We did not know what they spoke. Black and white conquistadors, we did not know what you taught, what you spoke. But you knew French. What? You know English. You know Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese. We know that now. So now, I'm bringing this up because check this out. It was in the past, but then that's why the Messiah said what he said here. Okay? So you got to pay attention, family. Matthew chapter 24, verse 28. This is what the Messiah said. The Meshiacha. He goes, for wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. So now he here gives us a hint, because if you read up, it says here, for as the lightning cometh out of the east and shining even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. They came from the east. So his coming is from the east. And he's saying, and for wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered, because he's coming after you. See, you guys never read this. You guys never knew this. Because the word isn't with you. You're not the people of the book. Let me show you something real quick. This is how we know. Leviticus 26 and 30. I will destroy your high places and cut down your images and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols, and my soul shall abhor you. Now we know we had idols. I showed you the video the other day. And we had high places dropping the heads down, right? And I will destroy your high places, the pyramids, and cut down your images, and cast your carcasses upon carcasses. Like the image we saw yesterday, where in Apocalypto, he chops them off and you just see the bodies on the ground. Or when he's running away, they're just throwing them on the floor, like that. And I will make your cities waste and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation. And I will not smell the savior of your sweet odors, because we know that back then our gente was putting fire all the time in sacrifice. So we see here, I don't even have to go that far. But watch this, Jeremiah 16. Let's stay on that vein. Jeremiah 16 and 4. It says, and they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. And they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine. And their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beast of the earth. We see it again. Where the carcasses are, there the eagles will be. Because guess what, fam? Watch this real quick. Jeremiah, where am I going? Jeremiah 5:15. Here it goes. Lo, I bring a nation from afar. O house of Israel, say the Lord, it is a mighty nation. It is an ancient nation with the eagle, with another language. But it's a combination of several, right? Psalms 83. We know that there's several, but you see who it starts with and who it ends with. Right? Psalms 83. It goes with Edom and ends with Tyre, or the Hamitic lineage. Revelation 11, watch, because it even told us here where they would be at. 11 and 8 says this. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. These dead bodies isn't really dead, fam. It just means you're asleep. You don't know who you are. Watch this. This is why Deuteronomy 28 talks about the mental curse. Deuteronomy 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind grope it in darkness, like zombies. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Which is why in Revelation 11 and 8, it says this, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. Why? Because they'll be blind. They'll be dead. They wouldn't know who they are. They wouldn't have the laws. You'd be told you're something else, right? You'd be very close to America.
All right, Mayday, 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 Mayday. Infinite 88. It could be the same person from before. If Mexicans are natives, why doesn't the American recognize them as their own tribe? And then you put fireworks as if it means anything. It's funny. You know what that means? That means you are clapping for your own statement. You know, like in class, like it's like you clapped up for your own statement. You just did that. So you need to look up the word Mexicans because technically it's a colonialized term. And the natives that you're talking about, which ones are we talking about here? The ones that claim to be native or the ones that are native? Might put so you can read. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't see the point of you asking whether we're not. I mean, me at least particularly, I don't think anybody on this channel is looking for these so-called quote unquote American natives to recognize us as their own tribe. Who's looking for that? I mean, for God's sakes, we're not even recognized in our own continent. We're being told we're illegal aliens in our own continent. Ain't that a bitch? Anyways, let's continue. This is just a fool.
America, but so far from the Most High, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Now we know that spear, right, came to this land, the land that is basically has a foundation of the name, the Messiah, Meshiacha. And they came as a spear, this great eagle with two great horns. Watch this. Let me go to Psalms real quick. Yeah, I can't be long on this one. I gotta take care of some stuff tomorrow morning. Psalm 79, verse 2. Watch what it says. The dead bodies of thy servants have they given to be meat unto the fowls of heaven, and the flesh of thy saints unto the beast of the earth. We see this again. You see, prophetically, it was going to happen. Watch this real quick. I'm gonna give you guys a Spanish video. We're gonna follow through.
With the impact to my...
Give me a second. Let's follow along, fam, and let it play. It's kind of a little bit long, but I'm gonna make sure that we listen to it. All right, it's important. It's important, fam. Let's go.
Business and income. My retirement gets pushed by...
Only about 6 months.
Yeah, hold up. Let me see. Can you explain the Hittites and the Amorites? Were they black people? Well, I mean, that's gonna take me off the topic, man. I don't do my camera died. Hold up. It'll take me off the topic because I don't go just wing it, man. Like I actually have a session going on. You know, hold back on that question. I'll try to answer it once I'm done. Try to remind me, okay? Hold up a second. Let me fix this real quick. All right, here we go.
Hey, listen, whoever you are, you should get your own channel if you want to educate people. It seems like you're okay with wanting the white government and black government to recognize you as a native. And then you said, first of all, Mayans and Aztecs had their own gods. See, that's all eugenics, white, stupid, Woodrow Wilson history. So if I were you, I would re-educate yourself because you don't know shit. What you just said is so stupid. Like literally, they didn't pray to. You don't even know how to spell Abraham. Why? Yeah, I really find it so funny. Yep. That's true. True that. Hittites could easily be mixed Africans, as well as Phoenicians, like Arabs. Yeah, but he wanted to go like ask a full question because I kind of skipped the video. Canaanites, West Africans, in my opinion. Yep. Yeah, of course they did, dude. Like, they're worshiping many gods. Canaanites are the like Canaanites, Amorites, all that whole family. That's where all this debauchery came out of. Druidism, all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty crazy. Anyways, let's continue. Oh, let me show you this because then I'm gonna go back to Brother Pana again. All right, so I'm gonna connect it. They connect eventually. All right, let's go. This is a Spanish channel, Spanish translation.
Bienvenido a Yolo Camotes, videos de temas de interés general. Es popularmente sabido que la conquista de América fue llevada mayoritariamente por España, Inglaterra, Portugal y en algunos territorios Francia. Todos imaginamos a los conquistadores como hombres de tez blanca, rubios y ojos de colores, con una frondosa barba, cara a cara frente a Moctezuma, o combatiendo a los distintos pueblos indígenas. Pero la colonización europea de América no fue del todo así. Esta también tuvo protagonistas de otras latitudes, en especial africanos.
These are the what does it call them? The caciques of Esmeralda, right? So Wabos love to use this picture and say, "Yeah, look, oh my God, these guys are African descent." They call themselves caciques to avoid to gain benefit, and they mix with our sisters. It's something that the African Western tribe likes to do. Canaan likes to do this, loves to do this. All right, let's go.
Que junto con los europeos lucharon codo a codo con los mismos. Tenemos la creencia que los africanos traídos a América fue solamente en condiciones de esclavitud o servidumbre, pero
that was the history that we were taught, that they only came as slaves. That's it. That there was always a white man that was in power. That's all we ever knew in school, in college, everything. Never, ever told us anything different. Just like us. Okay? So this is what the story they gave us. Let's go.
Pero no es así. Algunos de ellos destacaron lo suficiente como para mejorar en la escala social e incluso haber dejado sus nombres en la posteridad. Hoy deseo hablarte un poco de esta herencia africana en México. Es por eso que Yolo Camotes les trae el día de hoy los conquistadores africanos de América. En general, la presencia de personas de descendencia africana en América obedeció a la necesidad de mano de obra ante la dramática caída demográfica en las Antillas, derivada de las acciones bélicas y la altísima mortalidad que produjo la difusión de enfermedades como el sarampión o la viruela entre las poblaciones indígenas locales.
And we know that that's also biblical, family, because technically it didn't happen to anybody else but us, okay? So it says here, Deuteronomy 28, verse 26, 22. And the Lord shall smite thee with consumption and with the fever and with an inflammation and with an extreme burning. You see that right there looks like a progressive illness, right? Smallpox, chickenpox, with all those pox, that is exactly what happens. You get consumed, you get a fever, you get inflammation, meaning those blisters, right? And an extreme burning because they itch so much. It's like literally no joke. Well, it says it again in Leviticus 26. I was actually looking for another one. Where are you at? There it goes. Verse 27. And the Lord shall smite thee with the botch of Egypt and with the emerods, like hemorrhoids. The feeling, imagine having all those smallpox all up in your butt crack, man. Damn. You can't war. You can't defend yourself. You can't defend your family, bro. You're weak. You're consumed. You got high fever. And with the scab and with the itch whereof thou cannot be healed. right? And then it says until you're consumed, right? Where it says, spoiled evermore, no man shall save you. There's one more, fam. Here it goes right here. Verse 35. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. And we see the pictures here. Look, all over. These guys, our brothers, man, they couldn't get up. Look, boom. Smallpox all over their hands, on their feet, from head to toe. From head to toe. Okay? This is not a joke. This really, really is biblical. You guys need to start waking the hell up. All right? Let's hurry up, man. The gathering is now. Now is the gathering. Not later, not when you feel like it, not when you pay your bills. Don't be like Juana con su frijol en la boca. No, man. Y'all got to start working to get this damn kingdom back, man. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing our people being thrown to the pits, even to this very day. The damn with these damn two horns, man. Let's go.
La viruela entre las poblaciones indígenas locales. Fue así que a partir de 1502 se comenzaron a enviar esclavos negros a las colonias americanas, al considerarlos más resistentes no solo a la incidencia de virus, sino al trabajo físico en general. Sin embargo, es de destacar que el régimen esclavista español era más benigno que el portugués o el inglés. Y salvo
I think it's going to try to get a commercial going, all right? Because it keeps pausing. Hold up.
In this new digital era, kids have lost interest in movement and play. A study found that
Bienvenido a Yolo Camotes, videos de temas de mortalidad que produjo la difusión de enfermedades como el sarampión o la viruela entre las poblaciones indígenas locales. Fue así que a partir de 1502 se comenzaron a enviar esclavos negros a las colonias americanas, al considerarlos más resistentes no solo a la incidencia de virus, sino al trabajo físico en general. Sin embargo, es de destacar que el régimen esclavista español era más benigno que el portugués o el inglés, y salvo en zonas muy concretas, por ejemplo las plantaciones de azúcar caribeñas o el litoral pacífico de Sudamérica, el esclavo negro solía ser básicamente doméstico, es decir, se empleaba como criado. También era muy frecuente y nada se le diera la libertad. Muchos la consiguieron, estableciéndose como colonos con empleos típicos y tan peculiares como
establishing themselves as colonists, okay? Colonists. All right, let's go.
Porteros, pregoneros, subastadores, verdugos o incluso gaiteros. Algunos otros con espíritu más aventurero se enrolaron en el ejército español. Podemos nombrar, por ejemplo, a Juan Valiente, que es posiblemente el más famoso conquistador.
One of the most famous conquistadors, okay? Really, let's go.
Negro. Su caso es especial porque cuando aún este era esclavo en 1573, le solicitó.
I don't subscribe to that term, so you're asking the wrong person. Even though you're asking nicely, I don't subscribe to Chicano. I wasn't born here. So, well, I mean, because look, these games with me, man. All right. You want to know the term, you know the damn term. So explain to us the damn term. Don't ask me what you assume you know. We're grown men here. Don't be a child with me. Where did the term come from? Please break it down. I appreciate the I guess the decency in saying please, but come on, man. You're a grown man. If you're a man, you shouldn't be telling me that shit. Say what you got to say. Explain that this is what Chicanos mean. And whatever it is that we're off. Don't ask me just to do like a gotcha answer question type, man. I don't play those games. Oh, well, then why are you asking me? We're not even talking about Chicano or anything here. Oh, God. Listen, next time, raise your hand. Raise your hand next time. How's that? Let's go. Let's go. We got some people drinking tonight, fam. We're going to switch back.
Permiso a su amo, Alonso Valiente, que era un hacendado de Puebla, en México, para marchar 4 años en busca de fortuna con la promesa de su palabra de honor de volver y pagar su libertad con las ganancias que lograra. El español accedió y Juan se alistó junto con otros 200 africanos, la mayoría esclavos, en la expedición que el otrora lugarteniente de Hernán Cortés, Pedro de Alvarado, preparaba para ir a Perú. Pero una vez llegado a su destino, resultó que no hubo oportunidad de hacer fortuna, puesto que Francisco Pizarro se le había adelantado la expedición. En 1519 se sumó a la expedición de Cortés a México, donde arribó junto a a México Tenochtitlan, y luchó contra los aztecas. En una carta dirigida al rey, Juan Garrido presumía de haber sido el introductor del cultivo de trigo en el continente americano. Posteriormente, lucharía al lado del conquistador Antonio de Carvajal en lo que hoy es Michoacán y
Juan Garrido was a black conquistador, okay? So basically, that's what I'm trying to show y'all right now. What all this means. Why am I even bringing this up? I always ask you guys that question, man. Somehow I feel like I might be losing y'all at times. So let's get to the point here. All right. So now,
It's all
why
good.
did I
Hold
name
on,
this
let me
class
see.
Habakkuk?
Hold on, we're gonna move back now. No, I don't even trip, Vicky, VTC, bro. Like, I'm used to it, man. It's good. We welcome it. Look, it's like this. I'm not sure if people do this without knowing. I think because we're dealing with scripture. Keep in mind that a lot of these people that come here, they're not scriptural. Their mind does not, like what I was talking about earlier. They don't have like the scriptures like tattooed in their brain, so to speak. So like the Matrix, the agent will jump into each individual, just like the spirits will jump into people, and they'll come in and come bug out with weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like just out of nowhere. So no, man, we appreciate it. Bring it, bro, because the more brothers or sisters that watch and see the way either it's handled or the questions that are brought about as the session or lesson is going through, if you're a man of the book, you should be spiritual, so you should be noticing that this is not a coincidence. All of this is for a purpose. At this point of our lives, nothing's a coincidence. Everything is purposeful. All of this is for a reason. That person had to be here to say that. Because again, like I'm telling you, man, when you're in this frequency of the Most High, it's unbelievable how you see things coming before they show up. So let's continue. Hold on. Let me see if it's here that I'm going to skip. Hold on, let's see. It's right there. Oh, here I'm showing some of the pictures, right? Okay. Let me go back because then he's going to go into, the brother's going to go into his book. So now let's go back and see what he has to share. And then we can connect it back. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to read. This is from Hebrewisms of West Africa, and we're going to go to page 65. Right, and the title of the paragraph is called Sudanese Jews. I don't know if you can see that. See that?
Let me see.
Nah, don't trip, bro. You're good. And by the way, write these books down, family. They're hard to find. You could use archive.org. You can go in different sections. Learn how to be your search engine. A lot of times, if you look for a book, put a plus sign next to a search. Or let's say you put the book, and if you have an idea of the name of the writer, put a plus sign. A lot of times that will help you. Sometimes what I do is I'll actually take a snapshot of a paragraph and I'll type a good portion of the sentence of that paragraph, and it'll link me to a book. It may not be the exact book, but some other writer referenced that particular book, and then it may bring you back to the book you were looking for initially. So it's just a matter of you learning how to search. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful. All right. So again, the brother's going to go into Hebrewism, and it's very important to understand what he's talking about, because BHIs love to use this concept. They love to use books, 1 or 2 pages, and then they plagiarize a bunch of shit, and then they paint the picture for everyone else when the book itself is literally saying it's not what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's literally saying, like, for example, Nate the Snake brings up that map about people in Africa being of the Israel scattered, but yet that book is called The Lost Tribe is a Myth, which is debunking what he's saying that map is actually doing. And they do this often. Wabos do this. BHI does this all the freaking time. Yeah. That's true. You're gonna feel the pressure when everything's revealed to us, and you're gonna. That's for sure, bro. I'm not lying on that, man. I truly believe it because of the way that things are being manifested, even with people that I talk to, man. It's crazy. Let's continue, man. Let's continue because it's getting late. Let's go.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes, Sudanese Jews, and you see Hebrewisms of West Africa, page 65. This is the PDF for the book. And it says, I'm going to a little paragraph if you don't mind. Well, it's like the whole page, but I'll read it fast. And it says, but let us return to Dupuis's narrative, where we read, quote, the Jews of Sudan are, according to my informers, divided into many large and small tribes, with whose names they are unacquainted. Their mode of life in some countries is pastoral, but the towns are filled with traders and artificers of that faith, right? So like I said, there's no denial that there's Hebrews in Africa, but it's like, but we have to really be careful of who the Hebrews are. And let's continue. It says, who gain a subsistence at their several employments in the service of the Muslims, under whose government they live as vassals. This in reference to Mr. Bodwich's kingdom of Yehudi, I may be permitted to say, is the only state of society in which that oppressed nation is suffered to live. And the tribes, without security in their possessions, without public revenues or arms, are hourly exposed to insult and rapine from the blind zeal and active bigotry by which their lords are animated in these countries, and their lords are the Muslims. So basically they get mistreated by Muslims. They're like servants to Muslims. And the Muslims were the ones that were kind of taking everything everywhere into Africa, especially with the Muslim expansion of taking over North Africa, pushing into Spain, doing all that, right? And it says, and we were their vassals. So it says, the lands occupied by these people over a wide extent between Messina and Kabi. They are said to be mingled also with the upper Fula tribes eastward of Timbuktu. So there are some that are mixed with some of the tribes, right? So there are some Hebrews that are there. But let's continue. What does it say? And in many parts of Meroa, they have inheritances or are employed as artificers in the cities and towns. As we live among the heathens, said Bashal, so do the Jews in Meroa and in Fulani with our brethren. But they are not esteemed like us, for they are a people hardened in their sins and obstinate in infidelity. The anger of God is upon them, and therefore they are given to the rule of the Muslims until they shall become incorporated with the faithful. The tribes are not black. See, that's where it starts to get interesting. The tribes are not black, but of a color resembling the Arabs of the north. But what is more material, these Sudanic Jews are reported to have been the original inhabitants thereabout after the Arabs were acquainted with Central Africa. So, see, whence came these Jews and what influence did they exert, if any, upon the Ashanti in bygone days? So it's showing that there's a difference between the Ashanti and the Jews that were in Sudan, and they're like, how did they get influenced by these people, right? And then we see, as in the people that were in Africa and seeing all this stuff, they said that the Jews were not black, but that they resembled the color of the Arabs of the north, which today we see them, people in Egypt, obviously we always tell them, oh, those are Arabs, those aren't real Egyptians. It's because the real Egyptians were black, right? Now, another little thing, because we brought up the whole, Ashanti thing, there's another excerpt from this book. And let me see if I can find it. Let's see. See, I have some on the ones of the islanders and stuff like that. And it talks about that. See,
See, and then it talks about goes about apology. This book's actually really good, man. If you check it out, it has a lot of interesting stuff. Right here. So see, it says, as noted, so this is chapter 2, the introduction for chapter 2. It says Jamaica and Obeah, right? Jamaica and Obeah. And it says, as noted in the introduction, Jamaica Obeah is directly traceable to the Ashanti. And the word itself is presumably derived from Obayifo, a witch. Captain Rattray tells us the word for witchcraft in Ashanti is Bai, and for witch Obayifo and Bonsum, which are feminine and masculine respectively. The Bonsum appear to be much less common than the female Obayifo. J.G. Kristaller would seem to indicate the possible derivation of the word Abiyafo from Abiyen, which it itself is compounded of Ob and Ayin, a wizard, so that its strict meaning would come from Abi wizard. However, Captain Rattray, whose authority is paramount in these matters, insists that while the Ayin is also used, this word is really Fanti and not Ashanti, but as the Ashanti and Fanti are kindred people with a common origin, the ultimate root of both Bai and Ayin may be the same. In any case, the terms Obeah, and Abia, it's all spelled different ways, same shit. There is no agreement to the spelling. It's usually regarded to an adjective, while Obi or Abi is a noun. The description of Obi, transmitted some 150 years ago by agents of Jamaica to the lords of the Committee of the Privy Council in England, and by them sojourned their report on the slave trade, would trace the etymology of the word Obi to the Egyptian Ob, a serpent, thus making the practice ultimately a form of Egyptian ophulatry. However,
Okay, so it's funny. First of all, infinite. Mexicans can't unite. Michoacanos don't like Zacatecas. Poblanos don't like DF. I can tell you black. You want to know why? Because they don't use the F anymore. And neither poblanos. Matter of fact, that's not even like that's the last people that people even consider not getting along. You see, I was born in Guadalajara, pendejo. But I bet you didn't know that. I just find it so funny that I mean it's look, it's 12:14 in the morning. I'm in California. And I would assume that whoever's out there watching is because they're either meditating on things, something's going on, and they need to hear the word, right? Or whatever. But you random people, are you guys high? Are you drinking? Do you not work? I don't have a job. Yes, es un prieto from scratch. Es un mayats. Oh, by the way, I call them mayates not because they're black. By the way, mayates doesn't mean black. You see, in Guadalajara, I used to catch mayates all the time, right? And they're like insects, they're green. So I didn't know this, but I would always just wonder, like, these insects would always have like this little pink thing coming out of their butt. And it would, like, for whatever reason, I just didn't think much of it. Anyways, I find out that the mayates love to penetrate on other males, but they're still, they still they still multiply with other females. So that's where the term mayate comes from. It's like male that like penetrating other males, but act like they're not gay. Yeah, that's funny. Anyways, enjoy that definition. All right, let's continue.
However, one of the fragments of Sanchuniathon preserved for us by Eusebius of Caesarea, and then it goes to trail off. But see, as you can see, the Ashanti and their kindred tribes were messing around with stuff that came from Egypt. And then if you read, I have other excerpts from this book. It talks about how because of their culture, they know where they got them from, because they trace their stuff back, that these people could be no other people than the Egyptians and the Canaanites. And I'll get that real fast quote for you. It's actually smaller. Right here, John Bathurst Dean, John Bathurst Dean, this is page 50. after claiming to connect the Obeah of the West Indies with the orpheolatry of the Phoenicians and Egyptians, concludes, hence there is room for one of these two conclusions, that the Gold Coast was either colonized from Canaan or from Egypt, the former of which is perhaps the more probable, from the greater faculty afforded to the Phoenicians by navigation than to the Egyptians, who had have to cross the deserts and overcome many other physical difficulties in their distant march. So we see that even back then, you know, people were making this connection. Well, like there's only two really possible two possible explanations of who these people are. One of them is either Phoenicians or one of them is either Egyptians, and we know the Phoenicians were Canaanites. So, you know, we see these connections over and over about how the people of West Africa still practice the same things that they did in Africa, and those things came from Egypt and from Phoenicia. And we know that the Phoenicians were Canaanites, and they were scattered. They were in Carthage, right? They were in North Africa. They fled there from the time of Joshua. And then they also went further down over Carthage. They went and settled fucking West Africa. And that's where a lot of the things come from now. There's even a place still called Jebu, you know, so that's a lot of interesting things if you want to take from there or whatnot. Sorry to ramble on for so long.
No, that's good. That's good. But my question would be, didn't Israel have a serial problem with following the practices of the Canaanites and the Phoenicians, the Egyptians, etc.?
Yes, we did.
So if we see those customs being followed by certain people, that doesn't necessarily mean that means they still could. They could have been us, of course, in all forms of evil. Also, right? I got
if you want to put that.
But I got like a quick not off topic, but on topic. What about like the Canaanite practices that we see certain peoples or like the Amazon practicing? Would we say, would you say those are Canaanites or those were just Israel going off, quote unquote?
Yeah, well, see, a lot of them are mixed, you know what I mean, with that, because we know the Olmecs who came over here came from Phoenicia. You know, they came from Carthage. They were the Canaanites. And that's where you get a lot of the mixing, and that's why a lot of the brothers are darker nowadays, is because the Canaanites came here and they actually took over the Mayan Empire, which the Quiche Maya, were the Israelites that came from Arsareth, while the Colchin Maya, right? It's a different type of Maya. It's because it means like an immigrant, like a person that wasn't there normally. They landed in the island of Tabasco first, and then they, you know, started mingling with us and trading, because Canaanites were always known for trading shit and buying and selling and whatnot. And so we started doing that, and then they ended up mixing with us. We ended up amalgamating, and then they ended up taking over our empire from us. And when the Aztec, you know, strolled on in, they kind of took it from them. But then you had bitter Olmecs that came later on with the conquistadors, you know, and they kind of sold out. They kind of like took over, you know, they were like, fuck the Israelites, and they sold out us to the white man, you know what I mean? So there's just like a bunch of history going on. And a lot of that you can find in the book Mysteries of the Mexican Pyramids. I know it's a funny book and you wouldn't think, but it's actually a really well-sourced book. It's well documented. You know what I mean? A lot of good original sources and stuff. There's even a thing in there that talks about an original letter that was written by the Maya themselves saying that they are Israelites. So this book has a lot of good information in it. Right here, it's on page 79. In a manuscript written in Quiche in 1554 by several Maya Indians, its Spanish translator, Padre Dionisio Jose Conay, had this to say, quote, "It is supposed in the manuscript that the three great Quiche nations mentioned in particular are descendants of the 10 tribes of the kingdom of Israel, whom Salmanazar reduced to perpetual captivity, and who, finding themselves in the confines of Assyria, decided to emigrate. The actual text ran, quote, these then were the three nations of Quiche, and they came from where the sun rises, descendants of Israel, of the same language and of the same customs." So, you know, it's got a lot of cool stuff like that in it. And it actually talks a lot about how the Olmec came later. You know, the Mayan were actually the first ones here, and then the Olmec came after. And in fact, Olmec is actually technically our people mixed with their people. You know what I mean? Like that's technically what the Olmec were. But, you know, so we picked up a lot of their customs
He said, I was born in NY, pendejo. You say you're so spiritual, and yeah, you're a racist. Okay. That's a great point. What does the word spiritual mean in the Bible? What does the word spiritual mean in the Bible? Since you say I'm a racist, you know? You see, the thing is, a lot of people don't know what spiritual means. So by you saying you're spiritual, that means you think we're like Christians, like, you know, that whole white Jesus stuff, right? God loves everybody concept. And then you say that I'm a racist. Now, do I prefer my gente? Yes, I do. Would that make me a racist? Or what made me a racist? You people think apocalypse is real. I'm a racist, yet you said you people. It was very demeaning. That sounds racist. So you think you're better than us? You see what I'm saying? How? Yeah, you're definitely intoxicated. I just kind of wanted to mess around with the brain cells a little bit. Hey, this is exactly true. Let me read this. Nobody talks or even considers our oppression. I had this girlfriend who never acknowledged Mexicans being genocide. Like we never been through nothing to show you nobody acknowledges our history. Yeah, to this very day. I mean, you know, the famous books, The American Holocaust, man, that book whistles, bro. Like nobody talks about it. Even to this very day, we see constant reminder of the curses, and it's not significant to anybody. No, you know what that's called? It's called Doctrine of Discovery, Manifest Destiny. That means God bless America. That's what that means. Let's continue. We got another 45 minutes, by the way.
And stuff like that. And granted, you know, but see, then I got to point out the thing is that it's the other way around, really, in Africa. It's not the fact that African, you know, Israelites picked up African customs, but that those Africans picked up some Hebrew customs, the same way we picked up our customs from them in the Americas. And the reason why I say the whole thing about West Africans, you know, and I'm sure it was going to head to this eventually, is the curse.
And see, that's what I was hoping that you would bring up. Like Mayat, you don't even know how to spell it. You see, that's how I know that I don't think you're our people. Mayat is not a derogatory term. What do you think it means? Because I actually said what it meant. You obviously weren't listening. Because you think, see, Negroes made it a derogatory term. That's what Negroes made it into a derogatory term. It's not a derogatory term. I did a class on it. You should look at it, Infinite. It's called Mayates, the real meaning of it. Like, for example, you know what's worse? You know what's worse? Not even the word Mayate and the fact that it was completely turned around to make it a racist connotation. It actually wasn't. It's the fact that our people didn't want to get raped by these men that were African, okay, in jail. All right. This goes back to 1904. I actually have a book that specifically shows this. So I don't just talk. This isn't no talk. This is real shit here. Okay. It literally says that. You know what's worse? Not the fact that they twisted the words of Mayate around. The fact that the Willie Lynch letter is not even a real story. That they used the Willie Lynch letter to justify a slave history that was never true. There was never Willie, no Lynch. It was never written in 1700, nor in 18 or 1900. That's worse than the definition of Mayate, but that yet you are not going to say that that's racist because you don't even know the definition of racism. So let's go and continue.
curses, right? That's like one of our main things, and that's what always One West stresses, and that's been the whole fucking, linchpin and everything, is the curses, right? And everybody has to say, oh, you have to suffer all the curses to be an Israelite, and blah, 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 and all this stuff, right? Well, if we really examine the West Africans, they didn't suffer all the curses. They didn't even suffer half of them. And for one example of that is the curse of where it says that they would slaughter our cattle before our eyes and we wouldn't get to fucking partake in the meat or have any of it. That there would be a massive genocide on our cattle and there was nothing we could do about it. And that never happened in Africa. Food is scarce enough as it is. Why would they go and slaughter all of their food? You know what I mean? If they did have cattle down there, it was probably just taken. But we look at the Americas and we still have old videos, black and white videos of them completely genociding all of the buffalo that were in America. Mounds as taller than fucking buildings and shit, dude, of just giant buffalo skulls just piled up to the fucking sky, man. You know what I mean? Trying to starve us out, trying to take us down. You know what I mean? So we can see that curse happening here, but we can't see that curse happening there. You know what I mean? And then you can't say that it happened here for the West African slaves because they didn't have nothing when they were here. You get what I'm saying? They got here having nothing. They got stripped of everything. They were fucking treated worse than everybody. The lowest on the totem pole of the slaves. And they didn't suffer any of that. One of the other curses is that a nation from afar would come into your land and the stranger that is among you would become the head and you would become the tail. Well, if we're to go with the written narrative now, Israelites were strangers in Africa. That was never their land. So how can a stranger be over there? And what about the original people? But we can see in America how we had this land here. The stranger came here and overtook us, and now these dudes are the head, and now we're the tail. They lend to us, but we don't lend to them. You know what I mean? And in Africa, that didn't happen. It was, if you go with the written narrative of them being Israelites, those are already immigrants that had fled from Jerusalem, went to West Africa, were living as strangers there, and then were sold up and then brought over here and had nothing, no slaughtering of cattle, no taking of anything. You know what I mean? Like a lot of this stuff didn't happen. There's no records of it. One of the other little curses that people forget, or I guess one of the prophecies, and it obviously had to happen, was in Psalms. Psalms 138, I think it is, right? That's the song about...
Hey, this could be solved very easily. Infinite. If you're not a Mayate, then you shouldn't be offended. Regardless of what you think it means, or what you assume I think it means, or what you assume, or how you assume you think I use it to make it seem what you think it means. You see what I'm saying? So if you're not a Mayate, then you shouldn't be offended. Get over it. Move on. But if you keep bringing it up, then you are. And now you're just showing your true colors. Okay. So again, if you're not, then why are you still on that? You talk about someone else being on my so-called dick. You're on theirs. Why are you defending them? Chivato, bro, you tripping. Anyways, all right. So we have a pretty good understanding so far what the brother's saying right here, right? I think he's got a couple more books to show. Let's go right here. All right, let's continue.
With America. Happy shall he be that repayeth thee, as thou hast served us. So we know that people are going to do to them what they did to us. So this is something that is known to have happened to Israelites, that they did to us specifically, that's going to happen to them. And what does the next verse say? That is, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the rock. Right? Now, we have records, even from the time of the Spaniards of, in fact, I have a book, is it by me? Let me see, I have a book called American Holocaust. American Holocaust, right? From Oxford University, right? Oxford University Press. And this book is actually really good information about what happened in the Americas, man. They played a shuffleboard game with us. They genocided us. Even though we still have a decent amount of number of people here, it's nothing compared to what there is. 95% genocide from tip to tip. You know what I mean? From how we used to say it in our land, from Dan to Beersheba, right?
Yeah,
So so let's see. Oh, right here. Okay, so this is like in the book, and it has portraits that they had of the atrocities that the conquistadors made against us, right? Now, this is in the book American Holocaust from Oxford, and it is on page.
You know what's so funny? Now I know you're a Canaanite. You may actually be using a translator right now, but I know you're a Canaanite. Because only a Canaanite would actually say what you just said. Tengo una verga de moreno, pero soy más mexicano que tú, güey. You're a homosexual, bro. So the term, I was right. The terminology was right on to call you a fucking mayate. Because that's in that exact. Hey, look, oh man, thank you, brother. We're on the same page and shit. That's exactly it, bro. So he just literally did a whole gay shit. Now look at it. What guy comes over here and then says, I mean, we're talking some scriptural stuff. He says, I thought you're spiritual. So now he says, in the same breath, talking about his penis to another man. And then you wonder why I called you mayate? You can't make this stuff up, family. Can't make this stuff up. Like, you can't make this stuff up. You know what I mean? That's the spirit of discerning without even knowing it. Let's move on.
Page 147, 148. And I'm going to read the little excerpt underneath the little photo here, and then I'll show it again. It says, the took babies from their mother's breasts, grabbing them by the feet and smashing their heads against rocks. Is that not the same exact fucking thing we just read in the Psalms? It says they built a long gibbet low enough for the toes to touch the ground and prevent strangling, and they hanged 13 natives at a time in honor of Christ our Savior and the 12 apostles. Then straw was wrapped around their torn bodies, and they were burned alive. And here's a photo of that. You could see the Spaniard grabbing the baby by his feet, going to dash his head against the rocks.
Well, now let's move on to this other one. While we entertain ourselves with the homosexual Canaanite, the Canaanite mayate. So now you can't say that I'm using that term for black. I'm calling you a gay Canaanite. What you are. Well, technically, that's what it means. That you're a dude. You think you can't be called gay. But you like dudes. That's the concept. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's the whole concept here. That's what they call them, mayates. Anyways, now we're gonna find out this whole thing about. Remember, before we used to assume or think that it was just so-called Spaniards of European descent being the ones that were dashing us across the streets. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so you talk bad about homosexuals. If you're from the Most High, waiting here one to love everyone, no. Actually, no, that's not true. Where does he say God loves everybody? And he doesn't like homosexuals, that's for sure. He hates them. So you want God to love you? So you're West African homosexual looking for salvation, and that's why you're here. Hey, there's nothing wrong, man. You can always change your ways. You know what I'm saying? Just stop being gay. Just stop being gay. Infinite. Just stop being an infinite mayate. Anyways, let's continue because I'm about to finish. Let's go.
All right. This is 5 things you need to know you did not know about the Moors. So now, again, I want to stress this because this is important, fam. Behold, ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days which ye will not believe, though I be told to you. Basically saying, then the Lord said to his people, keep watching the nations around you, and you will be astonished at what you see. I am going to do something that you will not believe.
BTC, I did a class on this. It's called like the term mayate. Like if you Google it on my channel, and I found the book written in 1904, okay, in Spanish, where it explains where the terminology came from. It did come out of jail, but out of Mexico. Anyway, let's continue.
When you hear about it, like, what? What do you mean? Watch this, fam. So, number 1, the Spanish occupation by the Moors began in 711 AD when an African army under the leader Tariq Ibn Zaid crossed the Straits of Gibraltar, which is only about 2 hours. See? Not from afar. That's your neighbor. And invaded the Iberian Peninsula, Andulas, Spain, under the Visigoths. That's one. But here's the important one. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Number 2, a European scholar sympathetic to the Spaniard remembered the conquest in his way. It says, the reign of the Moors, or their horses, the reins of their horses were as fire, their faces as black as pitch, their eyes shone like burning candles. Now, watch this. Come on, man. Watch this. Where's the one I saw? I used this one a long time ago. There was one where it's like really, 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 really dark. See all these imageries. Look at all these images, man. It's just amazing that they have the need to do this, but it is what it is. They identify themselves. But there's an image that I want to show you where it's very, very. Where are you at? Where are you at? Sorry for doing this. I shouldn't do this. I need to stop doing that halfway through because I want to make sure the class continues. You can see a lot of these imageries, right? But image is image, man. Image is image. Here it goes. Maybe this guy. Oh, I know what. I got it. There it goes right there. Boom. Look at that. Right? Black and red eyes. All right? Let's read it again. The reign of their horses were as fire, their faces black as pitch, their eyes shone like burning candles. Then it says, here's the point. Their horses were swift as leopards, and the riders fiercer than a wolf with a sheepfold at night. Okay? Remember Habakkuk 5? That we're not going to believe it when we see it. All right? Watch this. Verse 8, Habakkuk 1:8. Their horses are faster than leopards, fiercer than hungry wolves. Their cavalry troops come riding from a distant land. Their horses paw the ground. They come swooping down like eagles attacking prey. We see the same thing here. Their horses were swift as leopards, and riders fiercer than a wolf sheep at night. The noble Goth, the German ruler of Spain, to whom Frederick belonged, were broken in 1 hour quicker than the tongue can tell. Oh, luckily Spain. What did they say about our downfall? That it happened so fast. Well, obviously, it had to do with the chicken pox and all those other things. But we see here this, like they say, hey, when they start telling you who they are, man, y'all got to start believing them. This is important. You got to identify these fools, man. Look, it says it again. Like, they're boasting about it. The Moors in Europe, they're boasting about it, fam. Look, again, it says it right here. A European scholar sympathetic to the Spaniards remembered the conquest in its way. The reigns of their Moors were as fire. Hold on a second. The reins of the Moors were as fire, their faces as pitch, their eyes shone like burning candles, their horses were swift as leopards. Hey, fam. Yeah, he's not the only one that comes here. They talk a lot of shit, and then when I put the link to debate, they don't show up. So if you want to debate Infinite, we can do it. It's not right now. Shit, I'll be your Huckleberry, man. I'm waiting for somebody to slice and dice. I'm waiting for somebody to slice and dice. We could take it anywhere you want. We can go directly to Deuteronomy 28. Matter of fact, I don't even have to leave Deuteronomy 28, and I'll embarrass your dumbass. Or Leviticus 26. Or we can just go historical books. And I'll show you how there's nothing in Africa that actually is written about black people being Israel. Because you're here talking all this crap, saying, so you're a Mexican Israelite. I don't see you going to are you going to some so-called Black Hebrew channel and telling them they're not Israelites? Or so you're Black Negro Israelites? Are you going over there doing those terminologies? If you're not black, supposedly, if you're from Mexico. Man, Sinetter's cheesy, bro. He's worse than this guy. He got two, I don't know, married a chick that she believes she's an Israelite, but he doesn't believe he's an Israelite. Man, this is all like, can two and two walk together if they don't agree? What kind of household is that? What kind of shit are you teaching your children? They got all kinds of indoctrinations. And listen, nobody's stopping this person from going over to any other channel and learning from all kinds of stupidity. You can go ahead and do it. What I find so ironic is this, man. You hate gays and black. You, my friend, are the undercover. I hate gays. Oh shit, dude. That's funny. I hate gays. Here, I'll read something to you so you can. I'll show you. Ooh. Yes, because you're butthurt about that. I don't know why. You're the first homosexual that's here. I'll call you a homosexual then. I won't call you a mayate, okay? Just to not hurt your feelings. So if you say you care to know, here, I'll show you this real quick. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Matter of fact, right here. So I'm going to read something to y'all real quick. All right. So here's Paul speaking. Let me see. Watch this real quick. I think it's here. Or is it 2
Second Corinthians. Which one's the one I'm looking for? Give me a second, family. Maybe I'm in the wrong one. Roman one, I think. Here it goes right here. All right. So you tell me if you think I hate gays. All right. This is God talking here. It says here, Romans 1:21, because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God. Neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, to four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. Vile. Do you understand the term of vile? That's like shit, okay? For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. It's against the laws of the universe, so against nature, against the laws of God. And likewise also the men, infinite, leaving the natural use of women, burn in their lust. And we know lust is a sin. And if you're sin, you're dead. And if you're dead, then God hates you. Burned in their lust one towards another. Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of the error which was meet. Do you understand what that means? That means it was righteous. And then this whole thing about that I hate black man, I'm going to tell you something. Everybody in Psalms 83 is who I do not like. Now, do I hate? Do I lose sleep over y'all? No. Because I know that the only reason this happened is because of our lack of wisdom, not because of your superiority. I'll take wisdom over any physical trait any day, and trust and believe that I don't lack physical traits. So for us is the wisdom to renew our minds is what we're looking for. If power and kingship and land and governing comes with it, so be it. But it's the reconciliation of coming back to our Father, getting the opportunity to repent. That's what we care for. At least that's what I know in this channel. That's what we do. Other people I don't think they do that. Well, you're welcome. You want to do it? Are you going to be here tomorrow? Is that what you're saying? More civilized the white man. So see, you black. You blackety blacker than blacker, bro. What you talking about? Stop trying to say you Mexican, bro. You ain't no raza. You can tell by the way you speak. Yeah. Pedro, keep an eye on this guy. Let's see what he says. I'm down. Let's see if he shows up. Let's continue, okay? Because I want to finish this. We've got about a good 10, 15 minutes. Hold on. Go back to this real quick. Here it goes, right there. Let's go. Stricken with the great.
household of the simple, how they came, what.
Also, I want you to be mindful of something he said. He said more civilized the white man, right? So the what I noticed in Habakkuk 1:8 is exactly that, which is something that they had acknowledged when these Moors went into Europe. What the writers, but the European writers, which were Swarthy, Africanish, Arab type, they wrote the reins of the Moors' horses, right? Of their horses were as fire, their faces black as pitch, their eyes shone like burning candles, and then it defines their horses were as swift as leopards. Habakkuk, I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he said that, because I'm not taking no credit away from the fact that Africanoids ruled Europe. Because if that's the case, then now you really have an issue with Deuteronomy 28, because I cannot wait for you to show up, because I want you to stay there. I need you to stay in Deuteronomy 28, and I don't want you to leave Deuteronomy 28. We're going to stay there all day. And if you leave, then you lose. All right? So we're going to be here. I'm not asking no more questions. Now you need to show up. We just asked you. You're talking all this crap. So I'm not asking you, don't ask me no more questions whether I am Mexican, Israelite, Black Israelite, Japanese Israelite, Samoan Israelite, Polynesian, Japanese Israelite. Nah. You said I'm easy to debate. Time and date. Talk is cheap. Let's continue. Hold on a second, fam. There it goes, right. All right. All right, cool. So I got a headset here now. So hopefully if it starts losing audio, man, let me know. Okay. So I'll do my best to not lose audio this time. So anyhow, we were going into the actual point about who these nations were, who these nations are, what they've done, how they came, what they did, and what they came with, right? So watch this. It's gonna probably hurt you there, Jay, but oh well. The Columbian Exchange. Watch what it says here real quick. This is on page. Let me see if I can download it real quickly, or rather quickly. Okay, I'm gonna download this one, and I'm gonna download this one as well. All right, here we go. Right here. Okay, here we go. This is from page 48. All right, it says, with the men of Narvaez had come a black man suffering from smallpox, and he infected the household of the Sempoalas, where he was quartered, and it spread from one Indian to another. And they, being so numerous and eating and sleeping, right? Watch this. Eating and sleeping, eating and sleeping together, pestilence seized them. Hold on, is that it? Oh no, my bad. I picked the same one. Hello, get out of my face. Hold on, get out of my face. That's not it. Stick. Don't forget. And it says sleeping together. Here, let me download this one because apparently I want to make sure you guys can see it. Come on, man. Stupid. All right, here it goes. It says, and sleeping together quickly infected the whole country. The Mexicans had never seen smallpox before and did not have even the European meager knowledge of how to deal with it. The old soldier chronicler, Bernal Diaz del Castillo, called a negro a very black dose for Mexico, for it was because of him that the whole country was stricken with a great many deaths. Yeah, man, please give me a ring, bro. So as you can see,
several diseases were at work. Okay, so it wasn't, again, we are trying to determine getting the understanding of these two horns. Who are these two horns? So I'm going to show you this real quick. The last link, and then we'll finish it off. There's another point. See, Black History study tours. When they tell you who they are, start believing them. Here they go. Oh, it was the same website. Here goes again. The rings and the Moors were as fire. Their faces black as pitch. Their eyes shone like burning candles. Their horses were stripped as leopards, and the riders fiercer than a wolf and a sheepfold at night. Man, that's Habakkuk 8. Habakkuk 1:8. If it isn't so, then I don't know what is. Again, 1300 years it was coined. Prior to that, it was prophesied. And look at this, family. You see, they're always good at showing us.
The eagle.
Hello?
The eagle.
See,
The eagle.
see, for example, right here, right? Look at this right here. For example, right here. Look at this eagle.
Black eagle.
Look at this eagle. You see these two heads? Two horns. The eagle that flieth. Two nations from afar, from the end of the earth. Look at this. What? How much more do we need to see? Now, this is just me. I'm not saying I don't want to relate that to the scriptures, but I find it ironic that the eagle on the eagle with the talon or the snake. So we know that the serpent had some relationship to the Messiah, and we know the eagle now who they are. Now,
You know, do you know what's more vile? You infinite. You see your wicked ass spirit. You see that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. You see, out of all the thoughts in your brain, you expose your wickedness right here. You see, you wanted to attack Pedro by trying to insult him, making him feel like as if he's less than me by saying he's your boss. So then you come here and strike division. But you say you are a so-called Mexican, and you say you want to debate me, and you say you know the Bible. Do you know there's a scripture about that, right? Causing division, causing strife. You see, that's why we have to be very mindful and pay real close attention to the things that people say and the things that people post, because your wicked ass spirit literally dwells in you. See, you have no idea that demons have tattooed your ass inside out, so they live among you. Again, time and date, time and date, time and date. Which is even worse. You're a minion for oh god, even worse. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and by the way, they do tax you for arms, okay? In case you want to join IUIC. If you don't give them money and you have a purple shirt, they'll take it away. Anyways, let's continue because we're almost done.
the eagle flies to our land and attacks the serpent. I don't know, but I find it very interesting because we see here two nations, two horns, two societies, two democratic beliefs, two ways of being, two personalities, two of them working together. Both of them. One is the brain, one's the muscle. One brings a disease, one doesn't. One likes to rape them, one doesn't. Look at this. This is, remember, and they tell you who they are. Start believing them. Eagle. The eagle. They're knights. The eagle. They came with horses. Okay, remember this picture? Let me see. Watch this. Look how they came in with their horses. Their face is black as pitch. They'll fly as the eagle. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from afar. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. And I don't know why it would be so complicated to assume otherwise. Why? You see them with their coat of arms. You see them with Roman pictures, them calling themselves Romans. So who are you then, man? My question is this one right here. Straight up. You know, I am just kind of at odd, especially when I saw the actual scripture and it came to my face and it hit me so hard. Because look, there's a lot of material, and I'm not going to read this real quick because I'm just going to show you a lot of material that tells us that this is actually did happen. You know, it's not. You can say, oh well, Vanders are what's his name, the golden age of the Moors. Oh, that's not true. And you also have to remember, look at this. I find it very interesting. So, which kind of Jews were these? It says here, watch this. This is on the Wave of Conquest, the story of Moors in Spain, the Wave of Conquest. This is page 24. Watch what it says here, okay? When at length they surrendered, Cordoba was left in. I'm sorry. Let me go here. The governor and garrison took refuge in a convent where for 3 months they were closely beleaguered. When at length they surrendered, Cordova was left in the keeping of the Jews, who had proved themselves staunch allies of the Muslims in the campaign, and who ever afterwards enjoyed great considerations at the hands of the conquerors. You see this? The Moors admitted them to their intimacy, and until very late times never persecuted them as the Gothic priests had done. You see, whenever the arm of the Saracens penetrated, there we shall also find the Jews in close pursuit. I've been saying this, that King James is of the bloodline of the Saracens. So as you can see, connections with the Moors, the Saracens, the crest. So for these BHIs to say that King James is a Hebrew, man, they're bugs. How can I say it in a nice way? Imagine just them being in a pretzel and their head up there, there. Yeah. They're upside down. So yeah. Anyways, listen, fam. I'm gonna make sure that we continue with this because we have another section here still, another hour left to do with Brother Quanah because he's got some important facts to bring out, and I don't want to leave that out. So I will continue this tomorrow. Not in the morning, probably around maybe 2:00. I'm gonna try to see if I can move the classes to 2:00, maybe 3:00, because I'm finding myself doing some things in the morning. And I need that energy. All right, family. So appreciate y'all being here. And Antonio, I don't know if you're asking me for questions, bro. I'm on my way out, but I'm like, what do you? I don't know what you're saying. African gods, because I seen a video of Mayor saying the Quetzalcoatl was a white bearded man, something like that. Yeah. Anyways, all right, man. So I'll chat with y'all tomorrow. Lord willing, this was a good edifying class. Or like as Chicloso likes to call it, a show. You know what I'm saying? Show. That's funny shit. Anyways, man, y'all enjoy the song. All right. Peace, peace and blessings, man. All glory to our Father. Shalom. Wait. Hold on. That's right. I
I gotta do this here. I don't know why I gotta do this all the time, but I guess I gotta do this all the time. Let's go.
Hey, più nigga on a microphone, studio off key on, gangsta song, my brother come over. It's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Climb the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. My brother come over. It's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Climb the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. Escucha a Dios si aún estás por este mundo. Voy a robarte tan solo 3 segundos. Quiero mandar tu mensaje muy profundo y pedirte disculpas por si me confundo. Soy un humano más que vaga en estos páramos, que se pregunta qué pasa si nos amáramos. Pero la guerra nos separa, así que páranos y únenos de nuevo, por favor, como quisiéramos. Ve al humano maltratar a su mujer, divisa al pueblo roto por su falta de poder. Sigo viendo al niño muriendo sin comer y al rico atragantarse tan solo por placer. Quedamos pocos mensajeros del honor, fieles servidores del humano con valor, nobles narradores de palabra con amor. Solo faltas tú para guiar nuestro interior. It's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Climb the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. My brother come over. It's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Climb the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. Sé que no es fácil nadar en estas aguas, ni mantener el rumbo en este sin razón. Sé que me quemo si camino en la fragua. Este es mi deber cuando recibí mi don. Podría hablar sobre coches y dinero, pero no quiero, por eso soy la voz del guero. Prefiero mantener mi arte mensajero, luchar junto al humilde para destruir el clero. Unos tienen tanto y otros quieren tan poco. Esta melodía me está volviendo loco. Pido a Kion que limpie lo que toco. Él destruye el muro en el que normalmente choco. La tierra muere y morirá callada. Creaste un suelo de arena malgastada. Nos diste ciencia y eso no te avala. Ella da respuestas, tú no dices nada. Sé que mi fe no va mal, pero aquí debajo todo sigue igual. Luchamos por vivir algo que es normal. Por eso lo divino jamás será mortal. Oh, my nigga, feel the rasta, you nigga, no my nigga. Hey, escuela, haciendo fresco lo que siento desde el alma. Nego, lo siento. Lo sé, señor, quizás hable sin sentido, pero al malvado hay que darle su merecido. Mira al diablo en que me ha convertido, pidiéndole consejos a un desconocido. My brother come over, it's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Clean the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. My brother come over, it's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Clean the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. Rebuilding, kind of way a city from president. Oh, gangsta shit, gangsta style, gangsta pure nigga Kion in Selassie. I repeat it, soul, yes. My brother come over, it's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower. Climb the tower, feel the warrior eternal power. My brother come over, it's a champion general flow. Listen, my reggae music is lower.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros. pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.